Hello everyone, it's SpawnPoiint and today I'm going to be showing you one of LG's latest TVs, the 75-inch QNED 81, and how it performs while gaming on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. This one is packing some decent specs too, including HDMI 2.1, VRR 120Hz and 4K, and it's one of the cheapest big screen TVs in LG's lineup this year with the same features. I also wanted to answer a question that I get asked quite a lot, which is why do I prefer gaming on a TV over a monitor? And what do you normally play on? Are you team TV or team monitor? Okay, so here it is. And the first thing to note about buying or playing on a 75-inch TV is the sheer size of it. It completely dominates the setup. And if you're coming from a 55 or a 65-inch TV, you don't appreciate that this next size up is a big jump. I've had a few 55 and 65-inch TVs over the years, and they look nice in the setup and are great for gaming. But as soon as you move up to a 75 or 77-inch TV, you get a whole different experience while gaming. Everything just feels so immersive. Now, one thing I have to point out about this 2023 TV is how nice it looks. We've got some relatively thin bezels around the edges, and it looks like LG have ditched the semicircle stand that we saw in the cheaper models and have gone for a flat metal base instead. It's by far the nicest looking stand that we've seen on a QNED lineup before. I actually think it's made it look a little bit more expensive and minimal with the new design, and on top of that, it means you can have a larger TV on a smaller stand if you need that, as the stand isn't as wide as the TV. And what's great about this stand is you can actually adjust the height. So this is the lowest it will go, but you can actually have it a couple of inches taller as well. Then around the back of the stand, there is some cable management built in. So you can hide your cables in here and then put the cover on. But it's no good having a massive TV if the picture quality lets it down. Well, it's safe to say that the QNED 81 has an incredible picture quality for its price and size. It supports 4K and HDR10, so any games or movies that I've played here look really good. Over the last week, I have tested quite a few games, but these are the ones that really showed off the colours for me. We've got Gran Turismo 7, which I've started playing again since watching the movie a few weeks ago. The contrast and the colours look great. And if you look at the dashboard here, the blues and the red of GT7, you can see how vibrant the colour looks. Now, with it being an edge-lit TV, I was expecting the colours to be pretty washed out, so I was surprised at how nice it looked, especially when viewing it straight on. I've also been playing Immortals of Avium. This launched a few weeks ago and it really shows off the colours and vibrancy of the screen. Now, this is a QNED TV, which is the latest LCD tech that we've seen from LG, and this combines quantum dot and nanocells to give us the rich, vibrant colours. But it's not just the colours, it's also the deeper blacks and the brightness levels. Watching this TV during the day is plenty bright enough. I'm actually running this at 90% brightness as it's too bright most of the time, and that's what makes this a great TV for those who like to game during the day or in a well-lit room. As for the black levels and using it at night, well, it does come with local dimming. This is designed to minimise the halo effect that you see on LCD TVs while improving the contrast. So what's it actually like for gaming? Well, I've gamed on a lot of TVs and monitors, and although I do like to sit at my desk for FPS gaming, nothing beats slouching on the sofa and playing games that you just want to chill out with. Sitting back and firing up something like Spider-Man or Moving Out has to be enjoyed on the big screen. Yes, this TV technically ticks all of the boxes that we need for the PS5 and the Xbox, but it's also about that immersive experience that you cannot get while sitting at a desk or on a smaller TV. So from a specs point of view, the QNED 81 gives us 4K support, so any games you play on the PS5 or Xbox that offer this look incredible, but it also offers us 120Hz. This means games like Warzone or Call of Duty, or any games that allow us to run it in performance mode, will work on here as well. And this is due to two of the ports on the back being HDMI 2.1, and that gives us the full of 4K and 120Hz, as well as VRR, ALLM and FreeSync. VRR, or the variable refresh rate, means we get that adaptive frame rate as the TV and console are not fixed at 60 or 120 FPS, essentially reducing screen tearing and stuttering. So playing games like GT7 where it's pretty fast paced as you're driving around the track, or even in Spider-Man where you're swinging through New York City, there is no lag or dropped frames at all. The same goes for story-driven games that don't necessarily need to be running at a high frame rate, but you just want to make sure it's running as buttery smooth as possible. Well, this handles it really well. When I was playing Immortals of Avium last week, which I've nearly completed, I just have one more level to go, I was amazed at how good it looked. Yes, this game is only 60 FPS, but thanks to VRR it runs really smoothly. And just for reference, this is the PS5 display settings area screen, and this shows you that the TV can handle 4K and 120Hz. But what about games that do require lightning fast reactions and response time? You know, games like Warzone, Apex and COD. Well, this TV can easily handle that as well. Before I got my desk about 2 years ago, I'd only played on big TVs, and as long as you have a low input lag and response time, gaming on a TV is absolutely fine. On top of that, as the new LGs come with the latest game optimizer mode, we get access to this awesome little menu by pressing the settings button on the remote. This shows us things like the resolution and frame rate, as well as if HDR is on and quickly swapping between picture profiles. For me, this is still the best gaming menu that we've ever seen on a TV. Now I do play on both the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, but this TV also supports cloud gaming. This allows you to play games via apps like Nvidia's GeForce Now, where you can stream and play games straight to the TV without needing any additional hardware. All you need is a compatible controller and you're good to go. So it's not just gaming, I obviously use my TVs for movie nights and all of my TV watching. Over the last week I have used this TV for finishing off Top Boy on Netflix, and I even watched a couple of movies on Disney+. It helps that it does support HDR, so any movies or TV shows that also support it have looked great. Unfortunately though, this TV does not support Dolby Vision, which is a shame, but HDR still looks good. Now one thing I really like about the LG TVs is the WebOS. Tapping this button on the remote control brings up the home screen, and from here you've got all of the usual apps you would expect to see. You have this nice clean card layout and you can scroll through things like Netflix, Disney+, and Prime, as well as YouTube and Apple TV. It's also worth talking about viewing angles and reflections on TVs like this. So generally speaking, the larger the TV, the more reflections you're going to get. That's just down to the fact that you've got this huge black mirror in your room. But the advantage of an LCD TV over others is it's got a matte finish rather than glossy. This helps massively with reducing those reflections while you watch it. You'll still need to control the lighting and placement in your room though. I mean, placing this opposite a window is still going to show up in the TV in a dark scene. But in normal viewing conditions during the day, it's absolutely fine. Now I did mention earlier that it does come with 2 HDMI 2.1 ports. So 2 of these are HDMI 2.1 and 2 are HDMI 2.0. It also has an optical out, 2 USB inputs, an Ethernet port and 2 aerial ports, as well as both Bluetooth and Wi-Fi support. As for the speakers and sound on this, they're okay. It's packing a 2-channel setup and they are down-firing speakers. But to be honest, if you're using a TV like this for movies and gaming, you really need to get yourself a soundbar or external speakers. The TV does come with AI Sound Pro, which creates a virtual 5.1.2 soundstage, but I just cannot get excited about internal speakers. So in my opinion, keep some budget aside for some decent sound upgrades. Now a lot of you do ask me what speakers I'm using, but these are the Monitor Audio Bronze 500s. It's a traditional 5.1 setup that I have in my room, but honestly anything is better than using internal speakers. So as this is a 2023 TV, we also get the latest LG WebOS. We get things like the quick menu function, where you can see and adjust the brightness and settings from this little menu, instead of going into the full settings page. Then if you want to dive deeper into the settings, well you can still do that from here. It also includes the magic remote, so it's always easier to navigate around the menus. Oh, and in case you wondered what it came with inside the box, here we are. We've got a removable power plug, which is always great to see. Manuals and the warranty information, the magic remote control, some batteries for the remote, and a packet of screws. There's also a stand which is made up of 3 parts. We have this metal piece which you can see from the front, then the rear piece that supports it. There's also another plate that attaches to the back to keep those cables out of sight. And as mentioned earlier, the cable management on this is pretty good, as you can keep your cables and wires tucked away before covering it up. Now although it does come with a stand, you can always wall mount it, as it's got VESA holes on the back. Now that is how I would normally mount my TVs, but for this video I have been using the provided stand. I also wanted to show you how they've made it so much easier to install the stand now. So all you have to do is take the TV out of the box, then slide it into this polystyrene bracket that they've made. From here you can now install the stand without having to lie the TV down. It's only a small thing, but it makes the setup process so much easier. And another quick look at how the 75-inch QNED 81 looks in my living room. It's big, but I guess it's in proportion to the rest of the furniture and speakers, so it shouldn't look too big. But the ultimate question is, do you need a big TV for gaming? Well, for me the answer is absolutely. If you've got the space and budget for a big 75-inch TV, I would go for it. There's just something about gaming on a TV that you cannot replicate on a monitor setup. It's immersive and it's awesome for story-driven games as well as multiplayer games. But let me know what size TV you currently game on, and would you play on something this big? Now drop a big TV in the comments and I'll give you a thumbs up for staying right till the end. And if you did enjoy today's video, check out my Spider-Man 2 PS5 video next, as it covers the limited edition console that I unboxed last week. Thanks for watching, please like, sub and follow me everywhere. Until next time.